What if I told you that millions of seniors won't receive a single Social Security payment this November? Sounds shocking, but what you're going to learn by the end of this video is going to leave you speechless. So make sure you stay with me till the very end. Not everyone is ready for what's about to happen. If you're on retirement or disability benefits, then listen carefully. I've got the official November 2025 Social Security payment schedule right here, straight from the Social Security Administration. And this year, there's a twist you absolutely need to know. On top of that, there's a massive change coming to Medicare in 2026. And trust me, this one could cost you real money if you make the wrong move during this open enrollment season. Before we go any further, quick question for you. Comment your age and state. I'd love to know who's planning smarter out there. I read every single one, and it helps me tailor this information to real people, not just numbers. All right, let's get straight into the Social Security schedule for November. No fluff, no dramatics, just the facts, because I respect your time. As you might already know, retirement and SSDI payments are tied to your date of birth. Born early in the month, you're paid earlier. Born late in the month, you wait a bit longer. Standard stuff. But this November is different. Let's break it down simply. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th, your Social Security or SSDI payment will hit your account on Wednesday, November 12th. Born between the 11th and 20th, your payment arrives on Wednesday, November 19th. And for anyone with birthdays from the 21st to the end of the month, your payout drops on Wednesday, November 26th, standard schedule. Straightforward enough. But here's the kicker, and this is where millions of seniors are about to get blindsided. If you're on SSI, Supplemental Security Income, you are getting zero in November, not a dime. Why? Because the payment date for SSI falls on November 1st, which this year is a weekend, and federal payments aren't processed on weekends or holidays. So instead of paying you late, Social Security pushes it back to Friday, October 31st. That means your November paycheck is actually landing in October. No money at all in the actual month of November. It's all in how they structure the date. Smart, maybe. Problematic for your budget? Absolutely. And that's just the start. In the next part, I'm going to warn you about why some people might not get their payments even on these scheduled dates and what you must do within 72 hours if that happens. Stay locked in. So we just broke down the Social Security payment schedule, and yeah, if you're on SSI, November is a dry month. That's already a red flag for many folks, especially those living on fixed incomes. But what if I told you it gets even trickier? There's a hidden trap. Most people don't see coming, and it's catching millions of seniors off guard every single year. If your Social Security or SSDI check doesn't hit your account on the scheduled date, the first instinct is panic. And I get it. But before you start dialing Social Security, here's the hard rule. You've got to wait 3 business days, not weekends, not holidays, 3 real business days. Why? Because sometimes the delay isn't Social Security, it's the banks. Transfers get held up, systems get bogged, and your money can get stuck in transit even when everything's technically fine. But here's the part that no one tells you, and this is the real danger zone. If, after those 3 business days, your money still isn't in your account, you need to pick up the phone immediately because it could mean something way more serious. You might be in debt with Social Security and they're holding back your check. That's right. Over 3 million people every year are hit with Social Security overpayments. Maybe it was a reporting error. Maybe you earned a little extra income a few years ago. Maybe they reassessed your benefits. Doesn't matter when they decide you owe. Them money, they don't send you a letter and cross their fingers. They go straight for your check. If you're on Social Security retirement or SSDI, they can slash your benefit by 50% until that overpayment is repaid in full. If you're on SSI, they'll take 10% of your check every month, even if you're already barely surviving. And here's the part that makes people furious. You might not even know you owe them until the day your deposit doesn't show up. So, what do? First, don't wait too long. The moment you pass that 3 business day mark without a payment, pick up the phone and call the Social Security Administration directly. Don't assume it'll sort itself out, because it won't. If there's a debt, the clock is already ticking. Now, while SSA is getting tougher on overpayments, They're also more flexible in how you repay. You can request a lower payment amount. You can set up a longer repayment schedule. You can even appeal the overpayment decision in some cases. But none of that happens if you ignore it. The key is take action fast. Next up, we're going to talk about something even more critical. A big Medicare change coming in January 2026 that could flip your healthcare planning upside down, especially if you're thinking of switching out of Medicare Advantage anytime soon. This one is going to stir up some real emotions. Stay with me. All right, let's dive into Medicare, because what's happening in 2026 could completely change the way you access care, especially if you're planning to switch from a Medicare Advantage plan back to traditional Medicare. A lot of people think they're making this safer move by going back to original Medicare. And that used to be true, but starting January 1st, 2026, things are changing. For the first time ever, traditional Medicare will require pre-authorization for certain services, procedures, and medical devices. Sound familiar? That's because it's what Medicare Advantage has been doing for years. But now they're bringing that system into original Medicare, at least in certain states to start with. So it's not just paperwork, it's a pilot program called the WARE Initiative. WISER stands for Wasteful and Inappropriate Service Elimination and Reduction. Basically, they're trying to cut back on unnecessary or overused services, which on paper makes sense, but in practice, it means you could be stuck waiting for approval even for treatment you urgently need. And if you're in Texas, Washington, Ohio, Oklahoma, New Jersey, or Arizona, you're the test group. If you're on traditional Medicare and live in any of those 6 states starting in 2026, you're going to have to get prior approval for a list of procedures. And here's the part that hit home for a lot of people. Epidural steroid injections for pain management, one of the most common treatments for seniors with back pain or nerve issues, will require prior approval. Think about that for a second. You're 70 years old, you've got debilitating pain, you fall, or your sciatica flares up. And now, instead of calling your doctor, you're stuck in a digital queue waiting for an algorithm or bureaucrat to decide whether you qualify. That's not a system built on speed or compassion. It's built on blocking treatment until they can justify the cost. Now, this is just a pilot 5-year test, but you and I both know how these temporary government programs work. Once they're in place, they don't just fade away. And if the cost savings look good, this process is coming nationwide. That's why you need to think hard before switching your plan, because the landscape isn't what it used to be. And don't forget, switching back to traditional Medicare from an Advantage plan isn't as simple as signing a form. There are 3 key windows when you're allowed to do it. Open enrollment, which we're currently in, October 15th to December 7th. Medicare Advantage open enrollment, January 1st to March 31st, and special enrollment periods. When something major changes like moving or your plan dropping coverage. But here's the kicker. When you switch back, you're not automatically guaranteed a Medigap supplement plan. Insurers can, and often do, ask for medical underwriting. That means health questions, a risk assessment, and in some cases, outright denial or increased prices based on pre-existing conditions. Some states protect you, most don't. Stay tuned, because in the final part, we're going to break down exactly what switching will cost you, and most importantly, what you should do right. Now, to avoid being stuck in a plan that doesn't have your back. And then I'll leave you with a powerful thought that every retiree needs to hear going into 2026. So let's talk brass tacks, because if you're going to switch from Medicare Advantage back to traditional Medicare, it's not just about the approval process, it's about the cost of living with that decision. Too many folks jump into it without realizing what they're really signing up for. Starting January 2026, your Medicare Part B premium will cost about $126 a month. That's just for having basic medical coverage. Now add a Medigap plan, because traditional Medicare only covers 80% of approved costs. The other 20%, that's on you unless you have a supplement. And the most popular choice, Plan G, averages around $160 a month. You're now looking at around $290 every month. And we still haven't touched prescriptions, because when you switch back to original Medicare, you lose your built-in drug coverage from your Advantage plan. So, you'll need a standalone Part D drug plan. Those can run anywhere from $0 to $100 a month, but the average you'll pay is about $20 to $30. More importantly, starting in 2026, Part D will have a $2,100 annual out of pocket cap on prescriptions, which is good news, say, but it's still money out of your pocket. And yes, you can spread that cost through a 12-month payment plan, but it's still a number you need to budget. But here's what ties the whole thing together. You might not even get approved for a Medigap plan at all. If you've been on a Medicare Advantage plan for more than a year, most states allow supplement insurance companies to put you through medical underwriting, meaning they can deny you altogether or stick you with a higher premium just for having conditions that, let's face it, most people over 65 have. There are a few states with what's called guaranteed issue rights, where insurers have to accept you no matter what. But unless you live in a place like New York, Connecticut, or California with birthday rules, you're likely not protected. And as we said before, Medicare is shifting. They're adding pre-authorization requirements in 6 states for a bunch of procedures. They're bringing in AI-based systems to review your care. It's not fear-mongering, and it's already in motion. The good old days of Medicare simplicity are fading. You need to be thinking 3 steps ahead, not just about this year, but 5 years from now, when this pilot program could go nationwide. Let me leave you with this. Your healthcare and retirement isn't just a checkbox. It's a strategy. The wrong move can cost you thousands of dollars, coy, or worse, delay the care you need. So, whatever you decide, stay informed, stay alert, and don't make emotional decisions just because a plan sounds convenient or familiar. Ask questions. Compare your state's rules. Look at your health realistically. You deserve care that works for you, but not just for them. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe. I post updates every week to help you stay ahead of the curve on Social Security, Medicare, and benefits that affect your day-to-day life. Take care, stay sharp.